welcome to the Vibrant Health Podcast with your hosts, Lydia Shatney and Jessica Espinoza. Lydia is a nutritional therapist and founder of Divine Health from the Inside Out. Jessica is a real food wellness educator and founder of the website, DeliciousObsessions.com. Since this is a health-related podcast, it should be noted that the hosts are not licensed medical professionals. The information and advice provided in this podcast is not intended to diagnose, treat, or prescribe for any illness or health issue and should not be construed as medical advice. And now, here are the hosts of Vibrant Health Podcast, Lydia Shatney and Jessica Espinoza.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode number 6 of the Vibrant Health Podcast. I am Jessica Espinoza from DeliciousObsessions.com, and my co-host Lydia is here from Divine Health from the Inside Out.com. And we are almost into summer season, so we wanted to do an episode today about safe summer care. So sun care, skin care, sun exposure, all of that kind of stuff, because people are going to be, going to the pool and laying out on the beach and going camping and all that stuff. So we wanted to kind of give you some ideas for how you can make those events a little more healthy and use less chemicals and, toxic skincare stuff this summer. So we are going to dive right in and start talking about how you guys can have a safe summer.
Yeah. Hey everyone, it's Lydia, and yes, we definitely want to talk about summer skincare and just being out in the sun. And most people are looking for ways to get healthy, and one of the easiest things you can do is swap out your personal care products and, make healthier choices, because there's a lot of toxins and a lot of chemicals and things in commercial skincare products. And being that I'm a healthcare practitioner, I see people's, hair analysis, and a lot of people have aluminum showing up and some other things, and so I know for a fact that we've all got some toxicity going on, and we can stand to make some changes. The question is, for many people, how do you do that? Well, okay, sure, I can swap out my deodorant, but, I know I'm going to stink if I don't wear deodorant, so what can I use instead? So we're here to kind of, make some suggestions and explain to you how to make this change, and it's not as hard as you think, and since people are probably going to start sweating more because it's getting hotter, you're going to want some good deodorant, and let's go there. So let's start with deodorant. I ditched deodorant a long time ago because I'm kind of crunchy like that, but most of the time I don't really need any. However, in the last few years I've needed some again, so I've found a few options. And the reason why getting bad deodorant out and getting something more natural in is because the skin is the largest organ of your body, and where you're putting your deodorant, especially for women, is close to the breast tissue. And so, as you all know, we have, an increase in breast cancer these days. Aluminum is very toxic. It actually clogs up your sweat glands, and it's in these antiperspirants. That's just one thing, and that's just one of the things. But there's also parabens, and they are pretty toxic. They're a preservative, and they actually can disrupt your endocrine system. I don't know any woman who doesn't have some type of endocrine dysfunction as it stands, right, ladies?
Yep, everybody.
Right. So just those two things alone makes it worth just ditching the store-bought deodorants and finding a more natural alternative. Jessica's done some great research and put together her own homemade deodorant. You want to talk about that, Jessica?
Sure. Yeah. One of the very first things I did whenever I started realizing that I needed to kind of focus on my health was start kind of cleaning up my skincare stuff. And, I started kind of making my own things as much as I could. And I was using a non-toxic, it was an organic deodorant brand. So, if you're not a do-it-yourselfer, don't worry, because there are lots of brands out there that are safe. So, there are just some people that like to do it themselves, but there's some people that don't. So we kind of want to cater to both. And so one of the first things that I ever made was homemade deodorant. And actually the reason that I even made it was because the brand that I was using that I absolutely loved they stopped making the one that I liked, which was it was lemongrass and rosemary, I think was the scent. So I set out to recreate kind of their recipe and make my own. So I have that on my site, and we'll put links, any of the recipes that we talk about in today's episode, we'll put links in the blog post below, or if you're listening to this on YouTube, check out the video description below so that you can see all of those links there, and we'll have links to everything. So I started making that, just kind of experimenting around, and it uses lemongrass and rosemary essential oil in it, but you really could tailor it to use whatever essential oils you want. And essential oils on their own are very powerful for, there's a lot of essential oils are going to be antifungal and antimicrobial and stuff like that. So I kind of rotate through my deodorants. So I have a non-toxic store brand that I use. It's a man's deodorant. It's Everyman Jack is the brand. Aluminum free, and they have a citrus flavored one that I really like. So I use that on occasion. But I also use just plain patchouli essential oil. I love patchouli. A lot of people don't like patchouli, but if you do, you might consider using that. So I just put 1 drop of patchouli essential oil, and that's one of the essential oils that you can use neat. It doesn't need to be diluted unless you've got very, very sensitive skin. But I've never had any problems with it. So I put a drop of patchouli essential oil on the tip of a Q-tip, and I just apply it to my underarm, and I'm good to go. That probably has been one of the best natural deodorants that I have ever tried. So if you like the patchouli scent, you can do that. My husband likes to joke that I smell like a hippie, but I love the scent of it. So, but you can mix it. You could even make your own little deodorant blends of essential oils if you wanted. So there's a lot of options out there that are safe, are going to help you avoid the parabens and the artificial scents and preservatives and aluminum and all of that stuff. So that's definitely one of the first things I would recommend getting rid of if you're looking to kind of improve your health.
Absolutely. Yeah, I actually, that's one of the first things I ask my clients when I see aluminum is I say, what deodorant are you using? And are you using antiperspirant? And they're like, oh, yeah, this is what I'm using. I'm like, okay, if you don't mind, go throw it in the trash. Here's some options. I mean, I hate making people waste money, but, come on, this is your health we're talking about. And it's one way you absolutely have control over putting aluminum into your system, because there are so many ways that you do not have control of toxins in the environment and in our world, and deodorant is one that you do.
Yep, absolutely.
So it's a simple choice. Yeah. And if you don't like patchouli and smelling like a hippie, grapefruit essential oil is actually nice too for a deodorant. But if you don't have essential oils and you're not using essential oils, there's so many other options. And if you don't want to make your own deodorant, there are plenty of people already making them. So I've used a number of different kinds myself, and we're going to make sure you get the links so that you have ideas. Some people realize they don't need it all the time, and then there's times when they tend to sweat a little more, and then maybe you just use it, the times where you feel like you're going to need it more. We all are going to have a natural musky scent. If you have a really bad odor, there's probably something else going on in your body. You maybe have a little bit too much toxicity going on, or maybe you have some kind of imbalance in your body that really getting rid of the deodorant is only going to help you. So think about it that way, hopefully. Ditch that toxic deodorant. It's so easy to do, and you'll never look back.
Yeah, and if you do, I just want to insert real quick. I was going to mention the scent thing. If you've been using commercial deodorants and antiperspirants for years and you decide to ditch them, your body is going to go through a detox period. So you may find that you have some pretty bad BO for a couple of days or maybe a week or something, kind of as your skin is going to be forcing out a lot of the toxins, and you're kind of, doing a little bit of a cleansing there. So don't be alarmed. I kind of went through a detox period when I switched from I think I was using Dove antiperspirant for years. And I went through a period where I really felt like I just stunk no matter what I did. But that only lasted for about a week or so, and then your body gets rid of all of that junk, and it gets used to not having it there. And then also, like Lydia said, if you find that you've got too much BO or that you feel just like you're a little extra stinky, that's when you really have to start addressing kind of dietary issues. There could be something else going on in the body. So you'll probably find, a lot of people find that as they clean up their diet, their body odor diminishes. So that's definitely something to keep in mind as you kind of make that transition. But don't be scared about it. Just understand that your body is going to go through a little bit of a detox period as it, cleanses and heals itself. So just wanted to toss that out there.
Yeah, no, that's important. Good. I forgot about that part because it's been so long. So, yeah, that's good stuff. So, yeah, great. So we've got deodorant. So another thing that people are going to start using more this time of year will be sunscreen. And that's a huge one because, a lot of sunscreens out there are very toxic. And the question could even be, should we even wear it? Because if we're blocking, vitamin D and all this. So that's a big one to think about and to start switching over to. And I think it's overwhelming because, like I'm a mom, I have 4 kids, and if they're going to summer camp or anything like that, they actually require the kids to have sunscreen and put it on, and they put it on all day. So my kids each have to have their own bottle of sunscreen. It's like, it's so easy to get sunscreen in the stores, but I refuse to use it. So I had to do some serious research on this one and figure out how I wanted to handle it and find options for the kids that they'll actually use, that are actually effective, and that that they won't mind using. And that's a whole nother topic there, but, the whole peer pressure thing and, your sunscreen is weird, Anyway, but we want to talk about, number one, can you make your own sunscreen and make it healthier? And that's where Jessica is going to come in because she's done a lot of research on this and created her own recipe. So if you want to make your own, Jessica can tell you how.
Yeah, so, I have to say, sunscreen is one of those things where I agree with you. Like, I don't really think that it's completely necessary in the way that we've been told that it is, like that we need to, I don't know, I guess there's a lot of information about it. So, we do need sun exposure. The UVB rays, there's UVA and UVB rays, and the UVB rays are the good guys. Those are the ones that stimulate the vitamin D production in our skin. The UVA rays are the ones that are the primary risk factor for cancer. I don't really ever wear sunscreen because I really try to practice safe sun exposure. I try to be cautious with when I'm out in the sun and how long I'm out there. And if I'm going to be out there for a long time, I try to either stay in the shade if I'm like out in an event or something, or, wear some, long sleeves. And I never wear shorts or anything. So I don't have to worry about that. But long sleeves if I can. I know during the summer it's really hard to feel like you need to wear long sleeves. So I kind of am in the camp of just safe, cautious sun exposure. But when you do need sunscreen, you've got to have something. So I have a recipe on my site, and I'll make sure I leave the link down below in the blog post or in the video description on YouTube, that I did a lot of research, a lot of natural oils like coconut oil, raspberry seed oil, carrot seed oil, all have natural SPF. And so you can make your own, but you kind of get into having to understand the difference between the UVA and UVB rays. So most of the natural SPF protection of natural oils are going to be blocking, let's see, I have to refresh this in my brain. It's been so long since I've gone over this. The oils are not going to give you 100% protection from UV rays. They're mostly going to block the UVB rays, which are the good ones that we actually need. And so if you want to get more of a UVA protection, which is blocking the skin cancer causing rays, that's where you need to add in some zinc oxide. Now, you have to look for really high quality zinc oxide that's specifically for cosmetic purposes. I have all of this outlined in my my article and my recipe on there about how to choose a safe one. The thing that you run into with that is that it's going to leave kind of a whitish residue on your skin. So that's where it's hard with the natural ones because you're not using the chemicals to help block. You're using kind of natural, natural ingredients and everything, that's where you kind of run into, I can see like maybe sometimes the kids may not like using it because they don't want their friends to see their skin having like, a little whitish residue. So you kind of have to weigh, whether or not you want to make your own. There are some good ones on the market. Dr. Mercola has a good one that I have tried personally, and I really liked it. I haven't used a whole lot of the organic sunscreens just because I don't ever need it. So hopefully Lydia's got some brands that maybe she can recommend or link to down below as well. But you can check out my posts and read all of the information that I compiled. I did a lot of research on it when I was developing that recipe, and it works really well. But you just have to still be cautious with the natural ones. You don't want to put this on, just once in the morning and then go out and stay in the sun all day and never reapply it and be in the sun all day long, because that's just not going to be safe. You are going to burn. So you really have to use common sense when it comes to sun exposure.
Exactly, and I think that's probably the most important thing, is knowing like how to be in the sun. If you're going to be gardening in the bright sun, you need protection other than sunscreen. You need a big hat, and you need to cover yourself and just be smart about it. Or if you have kids, that's tougher because they're not going to think about this stuff, especially if they're not with you and they're in camp. They're just not. So in that case, you really have to have something for them. But when my kids are with me in the summer, if we go to a pool or we go somewhere, I keep them in the shade as much as I can. There's certain parts of the pool or wherever we are where I'll encourage them to play. And if I know they're going to be in the sun for any length of time, I will put sunscreen on them. After 3 and 4 p.m., I don't worry so much. It's really those earlier hours, between maybe 11 and 2, that you want to be probably the most cautious. And if you're going to be in the sun during those hours for any length of time, you just want to have some kind of a protection and use it. But, you may want to start to think of strategies for being in the sun. I just don't think our culture thinks like that. We just do whatever and we just go wherever, but we don't think about things like this. So, maybe start thinking about how to plan your day when you're in the sun. A lot of people will go to the beach and they'll just literally lay out exposed to the bright sun for a long time, and that's just, that's not necessarily a good idea. And some people are going to be more sensitive to the sun than others. This could be like a really big can of worms.
With all things, natural living and food, we just have to be smart about it. And really kind of develop strategies that are going to work for the activities that we need to participate in, but that are also going to keep us safe. And one thing I want to interject is that the UVB rays, which are the good ones, those usually peak around noon during the day, but they are a lot more easily filtered out by clouds and overcast weather. The UVA rays, however, are not filtered out as well. So even if it's cloudy and overcast outside, you can still burn. So keep that in mind when you're planning your outdoor activities, that even if it's cloudy, that doesn't mean that you can just stay outside all day without running the risk of burning. But then, like Lydia said, everybody's got different, skin types, and your own exposure ability better than anybody else does. So you really have to kind of just tailor your plans for summer around what you can tolerate in the activities that you've got planned. So this could be a huge can of worms. This could be a whole podcast on its own, probably.
Sure. We're just hopefully just trying to make awareness. And I will post a link to Katie of Kitchen Stewardship. She did some pretty great research on different brands, and she keeps reporting her findings, and she has a bunch of kids, so that's really good information. And one of the lotions I do like, and I tried a whole bunch, let me tell you. And the one I did like is called Tropical Sands. And the reason I liked it was because it came in a bottle that was a squeeze bottle that was very user-friendly, easier for kids. It's water-resistant for 80 minutes, so if you're swimming for a long time, the kids don't have to come and reapply. It's non-allergenic. It's gluten-free, which I felt was very important. And it was probably one of the better ones that I've tried. So Tropical Sands is good. I'll make sure I link that in the post. Just for my own personal use, I've tried a lot of stuff. Sometimes the zinc oxide is good to have. Like if you're going to be in major sun, like let's say you're going out on a boat or something, you really want to protect yourself in a situation like that. So you're going to have to get over having this weird markings on your face, but it will be very protective. So that's just one thought there. Yeah, there's definitely options out there, and I do really like the tropical sands. It's probably more expensive than the typical sunscreen you'll find in the stores, but it's lasted me quite a while. So partly because I practice safe sun activity, and don't always spend a lot of time in the sun, but when we do, we have this, and that's when we use it.
Okay, so we've done deodorant and sunscreen, so what else should we tackle for summer?
Definitely bug spray, because that is probably some of the most toxic stuff, but nobody wants to get bit. It's you're sitting around hanging out with your friends at a barbecue, and you're getting bit up. Some people get bit more than other people do, so, that's a factor. But, when I'm at a barbecue, the last thing I want to do is get bit a lot and be annoyed, but then I also don't want to be around someone else who's spraying toxic sunscreen all over bug spray all over themselves, and I'm like choking on it. So I would love for people to learn better options for that. And, there's definitely a lot of DIY options that are effective, at least in the general, usage of bug spray. I'm not talking like going into the woods and going camping kind of thing, just, your average backyard party or even evening with the family, eating at the picnic table or something,
Yeah, there's a lot of essential oils. I have a bug repellent balm. It's a bug balm recipe on my site that I'll link to below. And then one of my contributors is actually developing a bug spray recipe for June, so that'll be going up as well. So there's a lot of essential oils that can naturally be used as bug repellent. Catnip, cedarwood, citronella, eucalyptus, lemongrass, patchouli, rosemary, tea tree. Those are some. I think I have a pretty full list in my blog post that you can check out. So a lot of the do-it-yourself bug sprays and bug balms are going to use the power of essential oils for repellent. So, and those work great. It depends on the person. Some people, like Lydia was saying, are just more prone to being bitten than other people are. So these work great for just, going out in the evenings or, mosquitoes and, kind of keeping those little pesky bugs away. Now, when you're talking about going camping and really going deep woods, if you live in a tick-infested area, essential oils can still be really powerful, but you just have to use a little bit more caution with that. So there's definitely some options out there. And as far as natural, I'm sure that there are some natural and organic bug spray, bug repellents on the market. I've never used any of them, actually. I'm going to have to do some research on that.
I have one from Mountain Rose Herbs, and I forget what it was called, but I really liked it. It's a little spray bottle, and that one was really nice. In fact, I think they might even have more than one, so the kids loved it, and it smells good. I think the stuff from the store is horrible. I gag when I smell other people spraying it. So it's almost like if someone lit up a cigarette right next to me, like, yo. You can make them very simply if you have some essential oils. Literally all you have to do is combine a bunch with some distilled water in a spray bottle, and boom, you've got an instant bug spray. You really can play around with different oils that you even prefer and kind of concoct something to your liking. If you don't have essential oils yet, definitely check out Mountain Rose Herbs. I really like their bug spray a lot. It comes in a cute little bottle. You could get one for each of your kids, stick it in their backpack. Another thing, too, is also what to do when you get bug bites. And that's another thing that you can use essential oils for as well, to kind of take away the itch and even the sting. So, things like peppermint, tea tree oil, lavender, rosemary, frankincense are just a few, probably the more common ones. And for adults, you can just put 1 drop neat on a bug bite, and for kids, you would want to dilute it. There's different ratios and stuff, but you want to know more about that, you can join our Essential Oils newsletters, because we do have information on how to dilute for kids and for safety. But you don't have to get some type of pharmaceutical product or go to the drugstore and get something to deal with your bug bites. You can simply use something more natural and actually very healing to the skin as well. Something that I learned, and I wish I had, actual link for more information on this, but people who tend to get bug bites could have, be low in B vitamins, or maybe it is related to their health for some reason. I noticed for myself, I used to get bug bites like crazy, and it really drove me nuts because somebody sitting next to me would be like, "Oh, I didn't get a bite. No, nothing's biting me." And I'm like, "Why not?" And you hear the jokes flying like, "Oh, that you just must be sweeter," or what people say, right?
Right.
And it always drove me crazy because I'm like, "Why am I getting bit more than other people?" Well, I noticed that last year I hardly got a single bug bite. I mean, I barely remember dealing with that at all, and I kind of noticed it halfway through the season, like, wow, there must not be that many bugs this year. And then someone near me would be like, "Oh no, I'm getting bit like crazy," and I'm like, finally, the tables have turned. But I really think it had to do with kind of my health was improving, and so kind of keep that in mind because again, we don't have to always be susceptible to everything out there. The healthier we get and the more we keep cleaning up our diet, we really can kind of minimize some of these things. That said, I'm going to link my favorite whole food B complex in case anyone wants to give that a try. Could be one thing that could just support your body in general and see if, helps you out there. But I definitely think the bug spray is probably one of the worst culprits as far as toxicity goes. And we're putting this stuff on little kids,
Yeah.
So if you have really little kids or kids in general, it would really behoove you to try something different and really benefit them and keep those toxins away from them from the bug spray for sure. So we've just covered 3 of probably the most common summer skincare items, I think. But if you want to know an alternative for something else that we didn't cover, you're welcome to leave us a comment, and we'll try to give you some ideas there. I'm also always talking about this kind of stuff in my newsletter, my essential oils newsletter, and I'm sure, Jessica, you probably do too.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd love to have you join that, and we share lots of information there, and you can learn along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll leave links to pretty much everything we talked about today. I even have a post on my site with the top 10 natural home remedies for sunburn, itch and pain. So if you do get sunburn, which we all get sunburn from time to time. It just happens. So
right.
Some ideas for what to do if you do get sunburn. So make sure you check out, if you're on our blog listening to this, the links should be right down below this. If you're listening to this on YouTube, or somewhere else, there should be links down in the description so you can check out everything that we've talked about. Yeah, those are definitely kind of the top 3 things that we felt were most important to get people thinking about this time of year and maybe moving towards just making some healthier choices. So we could talk all day about healthy skincare, but let's focus on sunscreen, bug spray, and deodorant for the summer and really make some changes there. So I guess that's about it for today's episode. We're going to keep it kind of short and sweet. We know that you guys are busy and have a lot on your plate, so we just wanted to get this information to you as quickly as we could. And then we will be back next week with more information. I think next week we are actually going to be talking about creating a daily routine for health. So how you can just implement little changes into your everyday routine that are going to, drastically improve your health and your wellness long term. So definitely come back next week and check that out. And I guess we will just wrap things up now. So I hope you guys have a great day, and we will talk to you again soon.
Yep, thanks for listening, and here's to healthy, safe summer skincare.